Don't you bloody move! That's right, Blackburn Rovers daylight robbery at the Riverside as they take home all 3 bloody points. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review. This time looking back at Blackburn Rovers' shock 1-0 win at the Riverside, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're chewing, and hit the old subscribe button to get you back up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related. Championship related. Whoa, football, what are we going to do here? Under one. Rowski, that's right. Goodness gracious me, I never would have hit that in 1,000 years. But yes, goodness gracious me, Rovers coming out on top with a surprise package. That is, of course, that 1-0 win. We'll talk about that in a minute. Big shout out not only to Rovers, but of course to the patrons supporting the channel behind the bloody scenes. Do appreciate it, guys. I really do. So let's take a look at it then, shall we? Of course, the match and stats and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. Of course, take a look at, of course, the numbers that matter. The number that matters today is that big one at the top there. 1-0. Of course, the Rovers going in favour of us, the away team today. 63rd minute was the one and only goal. That was, of course, for Joe bloody Rothwell. In a game which, to be honest with you, we were second best. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we were amazing and we deserved that win. We did not deserve it. And, of course, like I said, we kind of mugged them off, really. We're going to be honest with us. We can't say that it was another fantastic display by Rovers, but no, we were lucky. Lucky in a number of ways. And of course, it was actually quite a decent performance in the end when you look back on it. But there was a lot riding on this game. There was a lot riding on this for the sake of our season, to be honest with you. If we come out of this with a draw or less, then you could say that you could kiss goodbye for any long-range hopes of those top 6. And again, still those top 6 are a long, long way away. But it does give us a bit of belief that maybe we can still just squeak in there. You just don't know. You got to win these games. These are, of course, big ones against the teams above us to close in on them. But 1-0 was the final score for Rovers. It does not tell you much, this game, just that scoreline. In all honesty, probably a draw would have been a fair result. But we got mugged off. We've been mugged off many, many times this season. We got mugged off by Nottingham Forest way back when. We got mugged off by Stoke, I think twice. We got mugged off by, who else? Huddersfield Town. We got mugged off quite a lot. Norwich, a little bit. I think we got mugged off there. We got mugged off many, many times. It's about bloody time we did some mugging of our own. We come in there, we held them to ransom, we took the 3 points. And you know what? So bloody what? I don't care. You know, it's not. We're not going to remember this game. We're not going to remember, but it'll go down in the books as a big fat win at Riverside against Neil Warnock's bloody Middlesbrough, and that's a big pat on the back. I know we give them a lot of flack, and you know we've all got our opinions, and I think, in all honesty, I think we all will. If we had a lucky dip and an unlimited pot of money and things to do that, we would like to change our manager and refresh it a little bit. But to be honest with you, right here, right now, in the climate that we're in, with the money situation that we're in, and everything else that we're in, Mowbray is the man. He is the man. And I'm saying give him to the season. I don't think if anyone came in right here, right now, at this point of the season, even with this win, no man, even if you brought in flipping Alex Ferguson, prime time Alex Ferguson, he would not get us promoted in this season. This is in Mowbray's hands now. A new manager will come in, wants to change it all up, and we'll probably go backwards before we go forwards. I think if Mowbray does not get us into the top 6 at the end of the season, I think we got. I'm not saying promotion. I'm just saying if he doesn't get us into the playoffs, I think it might be a time to sit down with Mowbray and ask him, is this as far as you can take us, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway. Dream sheet is out the window. All that's out the window. Kudos for Mowbray for getting one over his bitter rival Warnock, who's sitting in his hot seat. That's where he wants to be, really. Of course, Mowbray wants to be back in Middlesbrough once again to be steering those bad boys. But fortunately, you know, for Warnock, Mowbray's the Rovers manager. Anyway, of course, here's a look at the stats here that matter here. 12 shots of the day for Middlesbrough. Usually Rovers are dominating that department, but not today. 3 shots on target for Boro, just 2 for Rovers, one of them back of the net. Possession was in favour of Middlesbrough, of course, 53% compared to our 47%. They had more passes than they does. They had a better pass success rate as well. More corners, of course. A couple of cheeky yellow cards as well for Boro. Let's take a look at some other numbers that matter. Of course, we'll take a look at the starting 11s in a little bit more detail in just a second. This is huge. This is huge. If it was a 5 at the back, I think we would have got beat. If there was 3 centre backs, I think I think we would have been toast. I think we'd have been Blackburn Rovers on toast today. But they played with a 4-3-3, which is similar to us. Kind of cancelled each other out really, but we kind of played into their hands a little bit. But ultimately, with our pace, breakaway, and that's where we won it today. We didn't use possession. We used counter-attacking-ness. There was a couple of chances that we could have got a couple more goals, but of course that one breakaway effort, Elliot with a crucial pass to Rothwell on a plate. Yeah, he was actually spoilt for choice, did Elliot, but he picked the right one, and Rothwell tucked it home. But yeah, we'll take a look at all the starting players in a second. Error tackles 126 by Rovers, which is good. It's a good stat, that. I'm happy with that one. Of course, possession 47% for Rovers, even though it didn't feel like it. Possession, pass success rate 61% for Boro, 60% for Rovers. But you know what? The number that really matters is this. I talked about it before. We could be all possession, we could all be stats, we could all have all the shots in the world. But if we can come away with the cheeky 1-0, I'll take that all bloody day long. So yes, this is the start 11 for Middlesbrough. Of course, Bentonade between sticks, Bowler at the left back, and McNair Fry in the eye. We'll talk about. I've not even talked about it. I've not even talked about the Fry eye situation. We'll get to that in a minute. Of course, Spence, who I thought was a major problem for Rovers. Sam Morsey, what a pack of shit he was today. Saville, Howson, of course, in the middle. What more was what? Who more? I didn't even see you. I didn't even know you were on the field there. Someone along, of course. Taverner was a pain in the arse. I thought Taverner was good. I thought Spence was decent. Saville, also pretty good. Bowler, of course, at the good at the back. Besides that, Asabalonga, I didn't even know you were on the field, mate. Did not even know you were on the field. What more? Yeah, like I said, don't even know. Saville was a pain. Taverner, without Taverner, I thought everything good came out of Taverner today for Boro, and Spence as well down the right side. But yes, we'll talk about the Fry in a minute. Let's take a look at the Rovers lineup. Here we go. Kaminsky between six, Douglas at left back, Nyambi at the right back, Branthwaite and Lennon at the back four, Travis, Johnson, Davenport make up a three-man midfield. Elliot was on the right, Rothwell down the left, and Armstrong down the middle. It's pretty much as I called it, really. The only difference, I think I had Brereton up top, but kudos to me. But yes, my match ratings, of course, Kaminsky with an 8. Played some really good saves, keep clean sheet, and that's good. Good for confidence, good for them, good for the back four as well. Even though they looked shaky as shit in the first 45 minutes, I was absolutely livid with the first 45. Douglas, though, I think that's probably his best performance in the blue and white shirt today. He got forward. He had a real good chance to add to the goal scoring tally, but unfortunately he hit the roof of the sky. That's right. Branthwaite had a shocker. He had a really nasty first 45 minutes, but got his shit together in the second half to get himself up to a 6. I was down in the 3s, mate. I was down in the 3s. Lennon with an 8, solid. One of his best as well in recent times as well, Lennon. And Nyambi was on the cusps of getting like a 6. He was shit in the first. We were so bad in the first half. I don't even know what I was watching. Travis, of course, he looked a little bit chonky monkey, but he did play the full 90. Did he get a yellow card? I don't know if I think it was either him or Chet Davenport got the yellow card. But yeah, he looked a bit out of sorts, but played the full 90. Good, get them points and get them minutes under the belt. Son Johnson had a bad injury early doors. Bad injury. I don't even know what it was. It was like his I don't know what it was. But he barely touched the ball. He farted or something. Farted, fell over, and that was him out. Davenport has a 5. He was shit, and I think he also lasted pretty long in the match as well. I can't really remember. Can we go back? Let's go back here a second. We're going to go back. Davenport got pulled for Dak, I guess. That's right. Rothwell with the 7 with the goal. Again, yeah, it was strange. It was a strange sort of a couple of minutes, really. 60-odd minute mark, he gets the goal. I thought, you know what? Brilliant. Up steps Mowbray, decides to change the whole attacking spectrum of this, bringing off, it must have been Davenport, Rothwell and Elliot. Or was it even Elliot? I don't even bloody know. But anyway, it made the whole host of, it was Elliot, whole host of changes, and I thought it was the wrong sort of vibe there. Rothwell just scored. You should leave him on at least for another 10 minutes, unless he's hanging out of his arse. I don't think he was. But anyway, it's a strange one by Mowbray, but guess what? We came to the 3 points. Armstrong had a real shitter. He had a couple of chances as well. Should have converted them, and if he had scored, he would have been up to an 8. That's how bad it was. Elliot, all the good things come through Elliot. And to be honest with you, I'm you know, we've given the plaudits all we can this season. 17 years old, wonder kid. He is a wonder kid. He's phenomenal. We're just lucky. I think we're lucky to have him. Of course, you know, if he was 24 years of age, he would be you know, everyone would be talking about him as the next best thing in the Premier League. But he's 17. You know, 17. He's doing this. He looks destined for the Premier League. And it probably is going to be next season. I love it. There's a scenario I would love to try out. If I was a movie director and I could write this as a script, I'd say Rovers sneak in 6th place in the playoffs, get ourselves promoted, bring back Elliot next season and in the Premier League for a year. And he scores a whole shitload of goals and he's destined for life. and he goes back to Liverpool and he does Baldy stuff there. But that's how I would write it. I'll write it so we get promoted. He does a brilliant season. Everybody loves him. You know, we can't afford him. There's no way we would be able to afford him. I remember way back when I was really getting into football for the first time, when David Beckham was in the young youth ranks, and he went on loan. He went on loan to David Moyes' Preston North End. David Beckham, that was. And he scored like 3 goals in like 5 games, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, you got to go get him. You got to go get him." I remember that interview on Granada, and David Moyes said, "Yeah, we can't afford the 3 million to get David Beckham into Manchester United. 3 million back in the day was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. I think Chris Sutton had just gone for like 5 million or maybe 6 or 7 million." But that's the kind of vibe I get from having Elliot here. He's a special kid. He's done amazing stuff. He might not be getting all the goals that we would like to see more of from him, but he's creating a lot of opportunities. And I think he could even be top of the assist charts. We'll have a look at that, the match preview, of course, for Luton, which will be later on in the week, of course. But anyway, let's go back, of course, and let's talk about the fry in the eye sort of stuff. That's right. That did change the vibe of the match. Yeah, there was a corner early doors, and it was actually after the fact that Bradley Johnson got himself substituted for his own injury. Corner comes in, Branthwaite, young, raw kind of guy, got his foot up high. All eyes on the ball, mate. All eyes on the bloody ball, but he does take a good chunk of Mr. Fry's eye. Of course, he goes down like a sack of spuds, which, in all fairness, it probably should have been a penalty. It should have been a penalty. And in those scenarios, you know, as I think referees, I don't know, you know, unless it's something malicious, I think they should either do one or the other. And in that scenario, I would say it would have been a penalty, but Branthwaite stays on. Maybe give him a yellow card and give him a penalty. A red card and a penalty is like double smash in your face. It's like double delight. It's a bit fair. It's a bit harsh, I think. If it's something malicious like, you know, karate kick breaks to the guy's leg, then red card his ass and give him a penalty. You know, but you know, it was purely accidental. There was no malice in that. But guess what? We got none of it. We got no penalty given to us or them, and then we got no not even a yellow card. So yeah. Sometimes the rub of the green goes your way, and today it just didn't go the way of Warnock, and it's good. It's good that he gets a little bit of his comeuppance, because he can be a little bit of a sour grapes merchant. We'll probably hear what he has to say. In fact, we've got a little Brucey bonus. We've got to hear what the Warnock has to say in a little bit. Of course, as you can see here, touches 527 for Boro, 500 for Rovers, 336 passes for Middlesbrough, 314 for us. They did hit the woodwork as well, Middlesbrough, in the first or second half, wasn't it? Was it the second half? It was calamity stuff at the back. Again, it was not a great performance for Rovers. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of the numbers in my match ratings do give you that impression, but it was just a huge improvement in the second half. Second half was much better, and of course the inclusion of Dak made it a little bit more lively later on. But ultimately, I'll take that all day long. So take a look at the heat maps, man. If you heat map like that, just let me look at it. Look at it. It's the Ryan Nyambi effect down that right hand side. Look at Douglas. Where is he? Douglas actually did a lot of defending, so we've got to give him a bit of credit on the left. But it is a big old one lopsided sort of stuff. Because, and you've got to give credit to Spence on the right-hand side for Boro down here. You know, he bossed Douglas all day long, mate. All day long. But yeah, look at this. Barren spell here. So, yeah, of course, Rovers, I'm happy days with that bad boy. Let's have a little listen to what the gaffers have to say about that result. I'm sure he's happy in a pig and muck.
Don't enjoy them games, you know. I've sat in front of you many times, and I'd prefer to play a nice game of football and both teams attack and use the ball and pass it. It was felt like a war of attrition. It felt like a lot of free kicks. Every challenge was shouted for a foul. It was a frustrating game, but a game that I prepared the team for. You know, we had a game cancelled, so I had plenty of time to study Middlesbrough, and I think, you know, when you break them down, they basically play man for man, out of possession all over the pitch, apart from the spare centre half, and you have to stand up against them, otherwise physically they're going to impose themselves on you. So we were ready for that, even though we were a very, very young team. But yeah, they stood up, young players stood up to some men today and managed to get the job done. So I'm not the referee. I can't stand here and say, "Oh, this should have happened, or that should have happened." I didn't see it. It was a melee in the box, and I'm sure you didn't see it unless you've got your monitors that you could look back at and you know whether it was or it wasn't. I didn't see it. I've managed a long time, and Neil's managed a long time. I've stood in opposite dugouts to Neil. Neil will shout up for everything and anything, and so if this kid's got in hospital and he's been caught and it's a bad one, then nobody wants to see that. But I was only just told them, but I think young Branthwaite done it, an 18-year-old boy with no malice, no intent, just starting his life and his career in football. And as I said, listen, the referee, give the decision you see. If you didn't think there was anything there, let's get on with the game. So, did it overshadow the game? I don't think so. I think it was still blood and thunder, was it not, for the rest of the game? Every challenge was contested, every header, every tackle, every forward pass. And as I said, I'm proud that our young team stood up and saw it out in the end and scored a goal. And probably towards the end should have or could have broke away when Gallagher and Brereton came on. Could have broke away and scored again. But it was a similar game to Birmingham. They're not for the football purist, but you have to find a way to win them, otherwise teams bully you.
I heard what the gaffers had to say. What about Mr. Warnock? He is livid. I caught up with him earlier. Here he is. Here's Mr. Big Nose with his verdict on that shocking incident, and of course the result as well.
I'm just fed up. I was gutted. I was absolutely. When I saw Dale's injury, I saw the challenge. Everybody's seen it's a red card. It's endangered the player safety. It should have been sent off. It should have been a red card. We lose our best player. We don't get a penalty. You can go on and on. That turned the whole game for me. I was gutted for Dale when I saw the mess that he was in. Yeah, really, it's a millimetre from. The doc says it's a millimetre from losing his eyeball or something. It's that close or something. So I haven't seen him since. I'll go in and have a look in a minute. You don't mind losing to a better team, but that's not a better team today. They've got away with murder today. But that's football, isn't it? That's football. I've got to calm down and get off home, I think, and have a quiet night. They'll be laughing their heads off, Rotherham. I don't know how many players we've got for that. Not a good day.
Well, what's been going on social media? Let's take a little look at what's been going on the old socials. And, of course, Twitter. We're going to look at Twitter right here, right now. I've got a few, so stand by. We're going to kick it all off. We're going to kick it all off. I don't even know. We're going to kick it all off. Lewis Hartley. There we go. Kick it off with him. Huge win. Even game. Feel lucky to come away with 3 points. Always need a goal to then kickstart the game. It feels like hopefully we can push on for a few more wins now. Meanwhile, Jason Maxwell said, break the jinx, because I said prior to this game, we haven't won when we've been on ESPN. But today we broke the jinx. Meanwhile, Jimmy Warnock being a dick. That's right. He had a bit of an outburst to the young lad Branthwaite at the end of the game. Being a complete knob cheese, if I'm completely honest with you. I like Warnock, but that was a bit harsh. Just take your sour grapes. You get the rub of the green. Sometimes it works your way. Sometimes it don't. Yes, your mate Fry got a bad eye. It's a kid. He's a kid. You could scar him for life. You could put him off the game. He could be the next best thing, and you could be putting an element of doubt in the boy's brain. So leave him alone. Warnock being a dick, never. Unprofessional from him and lost a lot of respect. He took a knock in my ass. Harvey Elliott's bloody outstanding Rovers tweet. Ant Grad said this: the silence from the Mowbray out mob says a lot. It's almost like they'd rather we lose and he gets sacked. He will never get sacked. Goodness gracious me. Then win a game. They've cried for weeks that our pretty football doesn't matter if we lose. We played poorly for an hour and won, and they're still not happy. See, like I said, if there was the dream pot, we had all the money in the world, and I'd say to Mowbray, at the end of the season, your time's done, son. Let's go get in Stevie G or somebody else. Then that's right. But he ain't going to get fired. He's going to have to either decide to walk away himself, something else. He ain't going nowhere, even though we would like him to go. He ain't going to go anywhere. So we just got to get the grips with that. Chris Martin said this: always had faith in Big Tony. Look at him. I mean, Elliot Bennett, of course, skipper, edging closer to fitness, of course. Harvey Elliott, special player, and Roadrunner Rothwell with the finish. Indeedio. Meanwhile, Reese said this: Blackburn's newest signing, referee Dean Whitestone. Look at him. He looks good. He was in our favour today. We hardly ever get to do that. We hardly ever get to do milk though the referees because it's usually on the other way. Carl Wick said, great result. Only turned up for the last 20 minutes though, but that's 5 minutes better than usual. We took our chance and they didn't. Don't understand why we can't start games like we finished. But all in all, a great performance, and I thought Gallagher made a huge impact coming on. He was, of course, a good impact at the defence. Sostazink said, Dyer for 60 minutes, extremely lucky not to concede a penalty. Lucky maybe to have the full quarter. Boro, the better team, but when you get the breaks, you must take advantage, and that's what we did. Take the final third. We were well done, lads. Of course, Foggy, celebrity Rovers fan, he just went like big old fist thumbs up and all that kind of jazz. The Houghton said this: well, we managed to wake up and start playing it a bit earlier this week. It looked brilliant from 60 minutes onwards. That's when That's, of course, when Dak came on, and that just needed to do that from the start, and no reason why we can't be looking at the table. Some belief there. John Roberts said, cracking result. Over the moon, onwards and upwards from here on in. Mighty Rovers. Meanwhile, Christopher Thomas said, unbeaten in 2021 in the league. 2 away wins, 2 clean sheets. Beat a team above us. Tony Mowbray out. Meanwhile, Luke H, aka Luke Benjamin H5 says, credit where credit's due. Did everything right today that we lacked all season. A horrible defensive performance away from home. Limited them to few chances and then nicked the win. Still progress to be made, but hopefully a turning point defensively. Really good win. Morris Murphy said, that's a super win. Rode our luck a big time, but fantastic performance by the lads. Can all the whingers and Mowbray outs shut up now? Meanwhile, Scott Cameron said, this thought Barry Douglas is starting to look more settled in now. I agree. Robson Green, not that one, not the fisherman, but of course, fair, all soldier. Fair play, boys. Stuck in there. Got to give credit for Tony. We look class when subs came on. Daki, great with that, great win that, boys. Special motion to Douglas, who really improving as well. Tony Murray, you could tell Neil wanted a penalty because he was shouting it for 40 minutes. Look at this. Maybe I can zoom in. Look at the smirk on the Mowbray's face there. Look at it. Look at him. He's so happy. He's like, get up there. That's my job. You're in my hot seat. You're wearing my jacket. He says, you're wearing my bloody jacket. And of course, that's something to do with the Bills, who are on later. Of course, so we'll take a little look. We've got a match watch along for that bad boy if you fancy joining me. But anyway, kicking off further. What else do we have going on? Of course, there was only a couple of games out in the Championship, and these were the results. Of course, over the weekend, Watford beating Stoke. Oh, that's a shit one. I was hoping for a draw there. 2-1 win for them. Derby getting another win of QPR on the rise now with Wayne Mooney's boys. The earlier match today was a 0-0 draw between Preston and Reading. I think that's what works out in our favour as well. Of course, Rovers beating Middlesbrough down at the Riverside, of course. Just a couple of games going on. Of course, it's the table as it looks. Norwich are running away with it at the moment with, of course, 7-point clearance over Swansea. We have a game in hand. Watford are into 3rd, Brentford 4th, Reading 5th, and Bournemouth make up your top 6. That's what we're looking at right now. 6th spot. If we can get a couple of wins, we've got a favourable run in for Rovers heading into this, of course, in the 9th for the moment, but a win for them. In our next game, we could go as high as 7th. Boro are in 7th, and win for them, they could actually go into the playoffs themselves. And a win for them today, could have done that. Meanwhile, Preston up to 11th, of course, Stoke into 8th right now. Game in hand on those. That's good. I don't like Stoke's style of play right now. I really don't. Wickham, Sheffield Wednesday, and Rotherham going down as it stands. Derby are on the climb. Yeah, what else have we got? Of course, this is the week ahead. There's actually just a handful of games coming at you. Millwall against Watford on Tuesday, down London way. Bristol City against Huddersfield. So realistically, we need Mill to win that one. We need Huddersfield to probably get a result over Bristol City. Borough against Rotherham. Hopefully Rotherham do us a favour as well. Coventry against Sheffield Wednesday can go either way. Whatever you like. Barnsley against Cardiff. Not too bothered about that one either. Brentford against Swansea. That one's fruity. I don't know what I want about that. I think I'm going to go with a draw on that one. Anyway, that's what's going to go ahead. And that's pretty much all I've got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this bad boy. If you did, smash that thumbs up. But if you're new, bang your subscribe button to keep you banging up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related. Championship related. Whoa! Football we here. On the Walrooski. That's right, folks. Of course, Rovers now. And a bit of a break for them. Just a couple of days off, quite a few days off. They don't go back into action until it goes back to Ewood Park on Saturday against Luton Town. I'll be back, of course, with a watch along, so make sure you come back for that. But until then, be sure to give the video some love and smash that thumbs up, smash the subscribe. Also check out the link down below, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon if you want to support the channel in another way. That's the best place to do it. But until then though, I'll see you all next time around. Until then, make sure you're keeping your mask on and being safe out there, and hopefully just don't go outside. Stay indoors and keep it tight. Until then though, just like Rovers Defence, I'm out.